So welcome everyone. My name's Todd Johnson. We have a couple folks you can hear from today. So first off, thanks for attending. Unfortunately, our sponsor Brian Allen from Microsoft, he had a travel conflict this morning, so he will not be joining us. He had some amazing content that I'll allude to, but we'll get to in a different time. But we want to dive into our sweet spot, which today we're going to talk about the nonprofit accelerator for Dynamics 365, which is a bit of a mouthful. Maybe it needs a more clever name, but it's some pretty powerful capabilities in there that we're going to show you. So real quick on the agenda, so I'll give you a little bit more background here in a second about myself and John, who you're going to hear from for most of today, as well as our company. The Microsoft Technology Social Impact, like I say, I'll give just a quick overview of some things about that, but we're going to skip the deep dive on that today. And then we have some different features, functions, capabilities of the accelerator that John is going to take us through, and then we'll give you some other options as well. A tool that we use with a lot of our clients. There's some other things that you might want to consider as well, and so we'll touch on those. And definitely, if you have questions, let us know. By all means, throw questions in the chat. We'll try to get to them. If we've got something in line where it makes sense, we'll get to it there. Otherwise, we'll make sure we try to gather them all up at the end. And if it's something we don't know, then hey, we're happy to follow up later on and make sure we get the answer to your questions here. So who are we? So first off, I'm Todd Johnson. So I'm based in Chicago. I'm responsible for all of FormusPro's operations here in the U.S. Short version of myself is I've been helping clients get the best out of Microsoft technology for my whole career, including I did spend some time at Microsoft early in my career. So, and my cohort from across the pond. So John, our solution architect. John, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yep. Hello everyone. My name's John Mills, and I'm a Power Platform solution architect. I've been in software consultancy game for just over 16 years now, with over 6 years at FormusPro. And I can say I've had a chance to work with organisations over many different industries in my software consultancy career. It could be anything from car dealerships to educational bodies to sewage treatment, so not always the most glamorous industries. But in my time at Formus, I've been privileged enough to work with a number of not-for-profit organisations as consultant, developer, solution architect. So that's me.
Excellent, thank you, John. Yeah, and John, just if people didn't guess where you're based, where's home for you?
Yeah, so I'm in England, just south of a city called Birmingham. That's what I am.
Nice. He has a slightly different accent. Easy to tell us apart. From that. But John definitely is the brains behind the operation for today's discussion, as you'll soon see. So, let me a little bit of background on our company. So, FormusPro. Assume you haven't heard of us, and that's okay. We are a proud Microsoft partner. So we'll talk a bit about what that means. But essentially, if folks aren't familiar with how Microsoft goes to market, Microsoft creates all this amazing technology. But it's not uncommon that their clients need some help to customize it, implement it, configure it, things like that. So they rely on partners like ourselves. So we're very much focused on a solution stack called Business Applications, which essentially is Dynamics 365. And if you don't know what that is, John will give us a little bit of overview of that in a minute. But Microsoft has some fairly stringent vetting kind of procedures they have to go through. So we can't just raise our hand and say, hey, yeah, we're a partner. No, there's actually a lot of certifications, a lot of exams, and we actually have to go deliver for clients and validate that with Microsoft to get that designation. So that's something we're pretty proud of. Basically, means you're getting folks that are true experts in what this technology can do, and we work with the full Dynamics 365 stack. And again, we'll give you a little bit of if you're not familiar with that, we'll give you a little bit of insight into that today. One of the things that I think is pretty interesting about what we do is that we certainly we service clients in all industries, but we've got kind of a sweet spot around nonprofits. And to me, I've been in this space a long time. it's really, really sort of compelling. I think interesting to be able to take this technology, apply it to clients that do, that have a real impact in what they do. And the nice thing is that we have this technology that can run the biggest enterprises in the world. We can help these nonprofits leverage that same sort of technology to help them be really good at achieving their mission, right? And so, really like partner with the clients to do that. The company, as John sort of alluded to, we're based in the UK. Just had our 12th birthday. We're actually, growing very quickly, and and getting some nice recognition in the UK for that. And we've recently expanded to the US. So we're relatively new to the US market. But guess what? Some of the nonprofit needs are very similar to what we've done, and how we've solved client problems in the UK. So I'm happy to be here and help us expand here in the US. And from here, it's a little background again. Everything we do is based on the Microsoft platform. So there's a number of reasons for that. One, as I sort of mentioned, the scalability. So you get that, ease of use, reliability, et cetera, et cetera. That comes with the Microsoft stack of solutions. We really it works really, really well with tools you're probably already using, right? And so everybody has Excel. Lots of people use Outlook. Lots of people use Teams. So the system solutions we design are designed to integrate very seamlessly with that. And so it's not like you have to learn a whole new set of tools and new systems, and these things just they kind of work really well together, which we're kind of a fan of. Definitely, there's an agile aspect to that. It's a word that we use in a lot of different contexts, but there's a lot of flexibility in these systems that again we're going to try and show you a little bit of that today. Um, wouldn't be a Microsoft presentation these days without at least mentioning AI. You'll see a few hints of that through the presentation. We've done some other webinars, and we'll do some more in the future, focus specifically on that. But the way I always encourage clients to think of it today is that it's not a bolt-on. It's not something in addition. And that's kind of the approach Microsoft is taking, is that AI is being baked into all the products. So there's AI capabilities that are just part and parcel part of these applications that we're working with, which is really, really sort of powerful, and really lets our clients get the most leading edge technology out there as part of what they do. And then, of course, the fact that is backed by Microsoft, runs on their cloud. So in terms of security, reliability, all those sort of things, it's the short version is, in most cases, it's far better than what you could ever do or build on your own, just because of the scale that they're working at. So like I say, we're Microsoft fans. I mean, we'll certainly tell you where there's gaps and where that doesn't work as well, but it's pretty powerful stuff. So. From there, I think, John, I think I'll hand it to you, and you can give us a little more, dive into a little bit more Dynamics 365 and what we're going to talk about.
Thank you very much, Todd. Yeah, so first of all, I wanted to just give you a quick overview of the Dynamics 365 business applications that are on offer. So this will give you an idea of what the sort of different applications of Dynamics 365 they are, and what they are. So we've got Dynamics 365 Sales, which is designed to manage your sales process, very much focused on customer relationship management and sales process. So there's lots of automation that you can use to make your sales process more efficient, manage your sales pipelines, and get good insights into those, getting your salespeople more connected with your customers. Customer Insights is basically Dynamics 365. It was formerly known as Dynamics 365 Marketing, but it's basically an application that allows you to personalize your customers' journeys, deal with all the kind of marketing stuff in there at an enterprise level, and it gives you the ability to build a lot of insight data on your customers, and use AI to generate a bit of that as well. Customer Service is basically a support suite. So we actually use that in our own support department to great effect. So Customer Service allows you to manage cases for any of your clients and manage incidents through resolution. Field service is designed for mobile technicians or field operations, so you can produce work orders, plan scheduling for those work orders, do route planning, things of that nature, and then your engineers can record everything that they do about the job on the fly as well out there. And then Business Central is basically Dynamics's ERP offering, so very much focused on finance and operations side of things. And we're kind of fully experienced in implementing all of these applications. So it's worth just being aware of those, of all of these, and that it will kind of move on once we talk about the accelerator of how it ties into these. What is the Microsoft Nonprofit Accelerator? Essentially, this is a collection of different applications that Microsoft have put together specifically for nonprofits. So it gives you a number of kind of pre-built tables, fields, and applications to use. As you'll see there, it is very much a free offering, which is great because Microsoft are very keen in trying to help nonprofits as much as possible, and you can get that from Microsoft App Source for free. You just need a Power Platform environment to be able to install it on. And also, just keep in mind, and I'll keep kind of referring back to this, but accelerator is the kind of key term in what this is. So it's not necessarily going to be a complete finished article for what you need, but it certainly gets you a long way towards that and gives you a really good head start in getting there, and puts in a solidly kind of architected and foundation for you to build upon to get where you need to go. So we'll kind of talk about what it is that you get, and then how you can move on from that point once you've got the accelerator.
Yeah, one thing on that, John, just so people are aware. So the accelerator we're talking about today is in fact free. Free is good. We love free. To be clear that you do require there's some Microsoft licensing for the core Dynamics 365 environment that's required. So of course, first question is, what does that cost? And I'll give the consulting answer. It depends. So it depends on your use case. I mean, there's a very powerful applications. The good news here is that Microsoft has an extraordinarily attractive pricing for nonprofit organizations, and so it's a fraction of what they would charge their commercial enterprise customers. And that's the kind of thing we typically help our clients figure out what they do need from a licensing perspective. Microsoft goes to great lengths to make that very affordable. But then once you have this platform, this bolt-on that John's going to take you through, is in fact free, and that actually can save you a lot of time and effort as well.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Before I get into sort of showing you what it all comes with and what sort of features and functionality there is, just wanted to explain a bit more of how it actually sits on top of your Dynamics instance, and how it all hangs together, where your data is, etc. So firstly, in terms of where the data will be for this, so it's actually stored in Microsoft Dataverse, is the data platform for it. So anything that you're recording about your customers and transactions and donors and so on will all be stored in Microsoft Dataverse. It will all be in a database that's shared within your organization, so everyone is working off of the same database essentially. So you can build up a really good kind of 360-degree view of your stakeholders and donors and so on, that everyone can see within your organization. And when you install the Nonprofit Accelerator, essentially what this does is install a bunch of pre-built tables and fields on top of your existing Microsoft Dataverse instance. So Microsoft refer to this as the nonprofit common data model, and they spent a number of years working with nonprofits and a number of partners to come up with this common data model. And essentially what they've built is these tables and fields, which have been quite meticulously architected to be to cover everything that a non-profit might need to handle. So 99% of non-profit sort of operations should be covered from this common data model. And the idea is that this becomes something that, you know, and it is already used by quite a significant number of non-profits. So you're building that commonality in what data structure a lot of non-profits have, and then it becomes easier to integrate with, you know, other third-party products and things like that. So there's real value in that non-profit common data model. And Microsoft are building on that common data model as well. It's not something that just stays static. They are building and improving it all the time. So that's in terms of the data, what you would get. You then obviously need something to be able to do something with that data, and that's what the application platform is. So as we kind of alluded to already, what this gives you is a bunch of applications, but within Dynamics 365. So that's essentially your front end that you would then use to, you know, create records and update records and usual processes kind of with this data. And it also uses Power Apps, which is a feature of Microsoft's Power Platform, which allows you to build sort of very specific applications for doing things, which could be used on browser or mobile or tablet technology. And all of this interacts with the data that you've got in Dataverse and that non-profit common data model. So that's kind of what you get when you install the Accelerator, but the real kind of kicker from it is that you get, on top of that, you then kind of get access to extend that using the rest of the Microsoft stack and the Power Platform stack as well. So you can build upon that and use really powerful tools such as Power BI, which is Microsoft's business intelligence application for reporting and analytics, and obviously you can hook that up to other data sources and bring that together and build a strong reporting suite if you want to. Power Automate is Microsoft's low-code automation tool, so that will really help kind of build and tailor the processes of what you use within the Accelerator to you, and you can start to automate some of those things that you might previously have done manually. So for example, you take a donation from someone, it's very simple to set up a Power Automate flow to send an email thank you to that donor once you've taken that donation, and you could then assign a task for one of your team to then follow up on that donation, that kind of thing. So you can build lots of different automations using that. And then Power Pages is Microsoft's kind of portal offering. So, you know, you would be able to potentially expose some of this data to external sources if it's things that you want people to kind of use. So, for example, you could have a portal created where donors could log in and review their membership and renew their membership and look at information about what they've done with you in the past. So the Accelerator, as mentioned, kind of gives you a start, but then there's so much more kind of capability that you can build on top of that. So moving into more explaining what you actually get with the Accelerator. So you mentioned it comes with a number of pre-built applications, and I'm going to go through some of these in detail, but these are the applications you get. I'll go through some of them in detail in the following slides, but just to kind of mention a few, just summary to kind of give you an idea of what they are. So delivery frameworks, for example, allows you to manage your your programs and projects and all of the activities that go on within your delivery framework, and you can set budgets, objectives, record results for that framework, so you can build that picture of everything you're kind of delivering as part of that. And then you'll see as we go through the bits in more detail that kind of links all together with that, so you can build up that real picture of what you're delivering. The IATI Hub is the International Aid Transparency Initiative. Unsure if anyone's kind of part of that, but this is a nice bit if you are part of it, that Microsoft have built something that an application that allows you to actually easily record and generate organization and activity XML files that the IATI would use, so you can kind of submit those files to them, but let this not-for-profit accelerator generate those for you. It saves a lot of time. And project management and program design lets you build a sort of repository of reusable program items that would be part of that delivery framework application. The other thing that I'm not going to go into big detail on, but to just give you a summary of, is assessment management. So in that application, you can create a set of standardized assessments that you might do. So obviously, if you wanted to record kind of the who, the what, the where, the when, and why of what your services for your services. So for example, if you were working in natural disaster kind of aid or recovery, you can use these assessments to create something to go and do damage assessments, so that you can then, at HQ see what the appropriate level of aid and service will be needed for that. So you can build your kind of templates of assessments from that. So moving on to looking at the other items on this list just in a bit more detail. Firstly, just to give you a kind of a glimpse of what it looks like as well. So this is the awards application. So just to point you kind of where to look for things. So at the top here, where it's got awards, that's telling you kind of what application you're in at the moment, and that's how you would change between applications by looking on clicking on that. And then down the left hand side here, you can see all of the different areas within that application. So you'll be able to see that, even though I'm just showing you a screenshot here of us looking at awards, there's actually various different other areas within here related to awards management. So you've got your requests for applications for awards, and obviously that would turn into awards hopefully, and any reviews of those awards and disbursements and so on. So the idea of this application is to give you something that's going to allow you to do end-to-end grant and award management, take those requests or applications through to award. So we're looking at an award record at the moment, which allows you to kind of see who the recipient of that award would be, what application that award came from, and we can easily click to go into that and look at that. Then there's a bunch of tabs along the top here, so that you can see loads more information about this record. So, are there different versions of this award that you've been looking at? Is there, how is this award going to be dispersed? What reports have we made on this award, or have we taken on this award? And other admin info as well. So yeah, you get a lot of info about your awards. In the past, we've extended this to make it more tailored to our client's process. So we can have it that you have a business process flow at the top that takes you actually through the application stage to the award stage, and makes you kind of fill in a checklist at each stage, and then build in automations that assign it to the relevant people at the relevant stages, and get approvals before it moves on and that sort of thing. So again, kind of going back to this being an accelerator, it's given us a great base to then be able to do all of that good automation and stuff after that. Okay, moving on to the next application we're looking at. So this one is case management. So case management in the Accelerator is used for basically recording the needs of your clients or stakeholders, and then being able to record a list of work items and actions related to those work items that need to be done, so you can kind of track what needs to be done, and your staff can see what's needed to be done to fulfill this need. Again, very much a case of it's giving you a good base of data here that you can record that, and you can make sure your staff go in and record that and look at where different needs are at. But you can build in automations. For example, we could use Power Automate Flow to create a bunch of preset work items and work item actions based off of the need type that you've set, for example. So case management is just a good way of managing anything in particular that our clients are after for us to fulfill.
And two quick things, John. Yeah. So, one, make sure that everybody understands too, what we're showing here is what you get default out of the box, which again, Microsoft has worked with a lot of nonprofits, and so we think that's very common use cases. Typically our clients, we'll add, edit, delete, from that, so it's very easy to customize. So if there's too much, a lot of information that you don't need, we can essentially hide all that. Or if there's other things that it's not tracking, it's very easy to add that. And the case management, I would not overlook that. This comes up with the clients again and again and again. There's just so many scenarios where having a case management tool is invaluable, and again, this gives us something that's sort of a quick start out of the box to to solve this kind of scenarios. So.
Cool. Thanks, Todd. This next application that I wanted to show you is hopefully as well to give you an idea of just everything there is in that comes with the Accelerator. But this is called the Nonprofit Hub. And this is basically an amalgamation of all the other applications all in one. So if you've got team members that would kind of be dipping in and out of every area within the business, or you've got system administrators that need to be kind of have access to everything, then the Nonprofit Hub gives you all of that. And just to show you kind of here, if we scroll down on the left, you can see just quite how many areas there are that you get with the Nonprofit Accelerator. It comes from Microsoft building this common data model that I'll go back to, that really does try to cater for all nonprofits. And as Todd has just mentioned in the on the last slide, that we can help you scale this back, because there's often too much than you're going to kind of want, especially to start with. So we can help kind of reduce the noise and keep you focused on the bits that are interested to you, and then bring stuff back in gradually as well. And we can help you do that. But certainly the Nonprofit Hub, if you get a chance to install this on a sandbox for yourselves to try around and have a play with, Nonprofit Hub's a good place to go to start with, because you can just get access to everything all in one.
Yeah, we made a decision not to go through every single one of those on our call today, but just know there's a lot of depth there. So yeah, we're trying to give you some of the highlights and things that we see come up. But yeah, the nice thing is that you kind of pick and choose, from these features. They're there if you need them. We don't have to implement it, if you don't, and it's just it's a very nice jump start to a solution.
So this next one here is Nonprofit Operations Toolkit. So this is a little bit different from the other applications that we've seen, which are all based on Dynamics 365. This one is actually built on Power Apps. And so this one is designed to cater for generally smaller non-profits, but to be honest, I think there are some uses for larger size ones as well, certainly with the kind of mobile app side of it. But it gives you the ability to kind of do some of that award management, budget management, but its main focus is on tracking the kind of costs of your delivery and your workers and so forth. So the one on the left, the screenshot we've got, is your kind of office power app, which would generally be browser based, but you know, you could easily use a tablet to navigate. And then the one on the right is a mobile application. So that would be what your field workers or workers would use, and they can track their costs, time, entries, and expenses on there, which obviously feeds back and is visible on that one on the left.
Yeah, and there's a couple of powerful things sort of hinted at in there, so just make sure, so we talked about Power Apps a couple of times. Power Apps is essentially we can create a custom application very easily that sits on top of the same data model. So often if you have somebody doing data entry or some in the field like that, you don't want to take them through this full interface. And so we have the ability to create a very specified application, for that function. As John mentioned, and this comes up again and again, these solutions, they'll run on anything, right? So if you're running on your, PC in the office, great. If you want to run on your iPhone or your Android phone, in the field, we have options for that. It's very easy to do that and create these power apps for these specific use cases. So we have ways to customize that and hide the complexity that happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's a good point, Todd. I think it reminds me actually of an example of a client of ours, a non-profit organisation called the Little Princess Trust, who provide basically real hair wigs to children with cancer. They had a specific need for the team that deal with the wig referrals and getting people in need of a wig to a fitting. So they needed a little application to expose all of their salons that they deal with on a map, show the location of where the wig recipient is in relation to those salons. They would then be able to click on each of the salons, see information about that salon, showed them like their own internal rating as to how good they think the service is from that salon. But what it would also do when clicking on it, we used a kind of integration with TomTom Maps so that it would show us an average route time to that salon, so they could work out logistically the best place for that wig recipient to go for the fitting, and then they'd be able to select that, and it would bring it back into their process for managing that referral process. So as Todd said, they're really great for very specific kind of small processes. Really, Power Apps are very powerful for spinning up to fulfill those specific needs. Okay, so talking next more specifically about donor management. So this is obviously a key part of any non-profit organization, and managing all your kind of individual stakeholders and organizations and donors. And the non-profit Accelerator gives you the tools to record lots of information about your donors to build up a really good picture of who they are and what their engagement is with you. It allows you to get a sort of at the glance view of sort of their donation and pledge history and any in progress solicitations that you might have with them. Anything, all the kind of information that will help when you talk with them, get them more engaged and feel like build that relationship with them. Because it's built on Dynamics 365, you have a kind of world-class customer relationship management system in there as well. So you get all of the good benefits of being able to record all of your communications with that donor, you know, phone calls, set up appointments, all of their emails as well, or emails that you have with them, you can track into Dynamics so that you get a good kind of view of communication history. So instead of, you know, this person over here is talking to that donor, but then this person over here has absolutely no idea about that conversation, you're then starting to build that picture so that everyone can see that. So you're not having to work in silos and one person has to deal with one specific donor. They've all got that good insight to them. You can look at donors from a household level, which I think is a really useful feature. So obviously we know that, you know, your donors quite often will be, you know, potentially a household would want to support it. So you'll have potentially donations from parents and donations from children as well, and you can help see that kind of level of information. And then with this donor management, obviously the key outcome of that is that you want to be able to kind of help drive more income, but be able to analyze kind of what you're expecting in terms of income and what's happened in the past as well, and start to spot trends and who might be more likely to donate and that sort of thing. Moving on to the next.
Full disclosure, I apologize to keep interrupting here, but yeah, full disclosure gets this. So,
yeah.
We use AI everywhere, you know. So, you know, I want to point out where we do. So, like, you know, some of the graphics you've seen in here, like this one. Guess what? We generated that AI, and just where that coming from. If you've ever seen a Microsoft demo, they have this fictional company called Contoso that they use in all their demos. We've been using Contoso Cares as the you know, as the nonprofit foundation from this fictional company, but that just you know, again, there's one of these things that AI it's everywhere, and it's amazing how much it sort of helps you, you know, productivity wise, you know, day to day. And so yeah, I should put an asterisk or something on the slide just to, you know, point out that, yeah, hey, that's beyond my graphic artist skills, but with my Copilot AI friend, we can do things like that. So anyway.
That's good. No, thanks. And then, yeah, so moving onto this slide, I wanted to give you an example of kind of some of the outputs that you would be able to get from the nonprofit accelerator out of the box. So it does come with a suite of dashboards, and in this case, it's kind of donor focused and looking at households, and I can see kind of in terms of commitments what I'm going to be expecting from certain households and how that's split by type of commitment, and so on. So really, although I've kind of mentioned on a few times you might have to build upon what is there in the accelerator, it still does come with a lot out of the box in terms of being able to get to this end goal of the really sort of useful information. And we will come back to dashboards a bit more later on as well. So very much tied to donor management, fundraising, obviously again a massive part of all nonprofits. So the accelerator allows you to record all kind of planned giving or donor commitments as well, and then recording those into actual transactions and donations in the future. As part of that, you can also manage the designations of those donations as well, so you can start to build up that picture of what you're expecting to receive, what you actually receive, and where that money is going in terms of your delivery and organization. I mentioned previously earlier, I think as well, that you can manage memberships in here, so you can record your you know, any memberships that a donor might have bought or subscriptions and things like that. On that membership side, just to give you another example of things that we've built on top of that, which you know wouldn't necessarily get out of the box with the accelerator, but it gives you the ability to record and manage those memberships and build data up on there. But we have kind of enhanced this in the past to build more automation in terms of setting up what the regular payments are as part of those memberships, which would automatically build the transaction picture up as well. Also in terms, yeah, I think that's everything on that one. And then I did want to show you this slide here, which was an example of a transaction as part of the fundraising application. And you'll see some of the fields on here, what you'd kind of expect to see in terms of recording a donation of when you've actually taken that donation and what the payment method was and so on with that. Now it gives you the ability to do all of that manually, but certainly what we've got good experience of and is and something that is across all the kind of non-profit industry really is that there are so many donation platforms these days that being able to kind of integrate and automate transactions from those coming into the system, we've got good experience of doing that with a number of clients. For example, Anthony Nolan, a blood cancer charity. We've integrated with third-party platforms such as GoFundMe, Just Giving, Meta. There's a lot more as well. So anyone with the kind of API or even a export import sort of facility will give you that. Out of the box, you do get Excel imports with Dynamics 365. So if you're able to get a list of transactions that you want to put into the system into an Excel spreadsheet, it's very simple to just kind of import those into Dynamics as well and build up your transactions that way as well. Okay, and then coming back to dashboards again, we sort of looked at one for households earlier. This is another example of one. This one's more focused on delivery framework, and it shows us all of the kind of split of the different frameworks that we have by objectives and what the budgets are for our frameworks and kind of what the share of those budgets are for those. And I just wanted to show this one as well, just to kind of highlight that although you get this really good suite of dashboards out of the box, it might not be necessarily what you want to track or exactly what you want to see kind of at a glance. But it does give you the ability with Dynamics that you can create your own dashboards, and as long as you've got the data there, which the Accelerator gives you the ability to record all of that, you can then build what views, which are these lists at the bottom here of records, and what charts that you want to see that give you that information that you need at your fingertips regularly. And the great thing with these dashboards are that you can drill down into the data. So you can click on, like I could click on part of that pie chart and it would drill down into what records make up that element of the chart. So I think really just keep in mind that although you get a hell of a lot out of the box, there's a lot more that you can do with it on top of that. Okay, so kind of moving in nicely to a very similar theme really is okay, we've got this Accelerator, it's given us a good head start. We've got, it's covering a lot of different areas of the business that we need to start recording and systemizing some of our processes. So what can we do to extend that, tailor it to us? So as mentioned, you can customize your own dashboards, you can customize your own views, so you can create lists of records and you can choose what data columns you want in those views from what is available, and you can even put columns in from related tables and things like that. The forms that we saw that you were filling in, you can create your own versions of those forms, and we can help you do that certainly. With any of the, you can add, you don't have to be stuck to this common data model. You can add extra fields if there are things very specific to you that aren't covered by the common data model. So Dynamics gives you a really extensible platform, basically, so that we can take what we've been given here with the Accelerator for free and then really refine it into what works for you. And we've kind of mentioned it, touched upon it briefly, but we've got all of these template apps. They might have way too much in them than what you're interested. They might not have enough in them than what you're interested in. But you do have the ability to create your own apps and pick and choose and take different pieces from each one to build the app that suits you or suits your department that you're trying to build a specific app for. And alongside that, it's got a very customizable security model that allows you to control what people have access to and can see and can't see and stuff as well. We've mentioned Power Automate quite a lot, and I can't stress how kind of powerful a tool that is really to help improve automation and just reduce the amount of manual effort that you might need to do in your processes. So really with something like Power Automate, it's good to talk to the likes of ourselves and kind of get guidance on how to go about doing that, and we can help you build those. And then also we've looked at dashboards there for some element of reporting, but if you need something more in depth and you want to connect data from other areas of your business and include those in the reports with the data that we've got in Dataverse on this Accelerator, then Power BI is really great at bringing all that together. I cannot strongly encourage enough that if you're interested in kind of looking more at the Accelerator, or you have the Accelerator and you're wanting to kind of move on to the next level from that Accelerator, that you engage with a Microsoft partner and but us specifically to find out the art of the possible.
Yeah, we have a suggestion for that, John. So yeah. Right.
Okay. So I think we mentioned at the start as well that there are options other than the Accelerator. So it's worth finding out. And again, we can, if you're considering this, we can talk to you about these options more in detail at any point if you ever want to chat about that. But the nonprofit Accelerator it's free. It gives you a great base and that. But there are other options which might be more suitable depending on your size of organization and what specifically it is that you're trying to get out of it. So we've seen Microsoft are great in coming up with all of these options, and also these are all options really that can be suitable for nonprofits as well, which is great. So one approach we've seen some clients take is they use Dynamics 365 customer engagement sales, which we talked about earlier, is kind of managing the sales pipeline process. But that sometimes give you a lot of really what you need in terms of your donor management. It has a lead to opportunity process, which is effectively a solicitation process. So trying to take those potential donors through to donation. It's got all of that customer relationship management goodness in there. You have the sales element, so a lot of non-profits, sell products. So you have all of that side of it in there. So then it only really needs a few bits to build upon that to make it more non-profit specific. So some people choose to use that as a base and then build from there. Worth pointing out though that the Accelerator quite happily sits on top of that, so you can have sales and just install the Accelerator as well, and pick and choose bits, as we've said, from the Accelerator that are handy. So that's useful to know that as an approach. Business Central we talked about is the Microsoft's kind of ERP solution. So if it is more operational sort of side of things that you're looking at, then that might be the choice to go to. There are a bunch of non-profit add-ons for that as well. So if that is something you're interested in, that's worth getting in touch to talk about what the options are on that. Power Apps as we mentioned, are very good for very specific kind of functions that you want, and might be people that don't necessarily need to interact with the whole of your kind of Dynamics environment and data there. They might need to just be very blinkered and do very specific functions, and Power Apps are great for spinning up that sort of thing very quickly and very easily. So that is also an option if what your requirements are very specific. Then we come on to Microsoft Cloud for non-profit. So the Accelerator is kind of I would think of it as like a foundation to a building, I guess, whereas Cloud for non-profit is probably, it has got the structure to the building as well. Really, it's kind of the Accelerator and on a bit more. It is more it has more functionality and features than the Accelerator. It's built upon the same common data model, which is great. So you can start off with the Accelerator and you might move to Cloud for Nonprofit and using fundraising and engagement. But there are a bit more prerequisites to be able to use Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit. So it's good to have a look at that as well if you're looking at the Accelerator, to understand what the differences might be. For example, with fundraising engagement, you get a lot more fundraising engagement and the Cloud for Nonprofit stuff. You get a lot more volunteer management side of things. So if that is a big aspect of your business, of your organization, then that's very useful. There's a lot of event management stuff built into it. It's set up that you can kind of hook it up quite easily to payment processes, which it is not something you would be able to do out of the box with the Accelerator. You can add it to the Accelerator, but it would require some work with us to do that. So Cloud for Nonprofit is basically a step further than the Accelerator, I would say. So it's worth considering that when you are looking at your options, for sure. And then there's Dynamics 365 Customer Insights, which is effectively an enterprise level marketing tool, and marketing is such a big part of fundraising these days. And the great thing about Customer Insights is that it works seamlessly with all of this stuff that we're sort of talking about here. That it would use your Dataverse data. You can build those customer journeys to kind of really tailor when you want to speak to engage with your donors and so on. So worth considering that as part of your mix of what you want to do, or whether it's something you want to add on, or even just use to cover what your requirements are.
Yeah, no, they're excellent. So take a breath. I have one question in the chat that I'll take a first pass at here, and John, you can fill in. But yeah, and so how do we compare this to Salesforce? Which, hey, that's a very common question. I've been dealing with that for years. So a couple things. I mean, first off, Salesforce is a very capable platform. Obviously, it's very popular, particularly in the commercial space. Things that our clients tell us why they pick Microsoft, as well as some of our own thoughts on that. Certainly, if you're already in the Microsoft ecosystem, right? So if you're already using Office, you're using Teams, things like that, the integration and the workflow that just comes built in from that is very powerful. And with Salesforce, it's just a little clunkier. Not you couldn't do that. The other thing, a number of things here. John mentions here several times, and we'll keep harping on it, but the customization options via what Microsoft calls these low-code options. So Power App, Power Automate, very, very easy to do things custom. Microsoft has this concept of citizen developers. You can have some non-technical people can do some pretty interesting things on this platform, which we think is pretty interesting. The integration, and this is sort of the it's not the fun stuff, but you have the other third-party systems you need to tie to, or data you want to import. Because this is all built on Microsoft's cloud, so there's a bigger sort of ecosystem there. Oftentimes, those integrations are already done, or much easier to implement, and that's always a better option. The Dataverse, we mentioned there a couple times, and again, that's a bigger topic. But the fact that you have a single source of the truth for all this data that you can basically leverage across your enterprise. It's very powerful, and clients tell us that they like that. Right now, there's a bit of an a very much a competitive innovation race going on right now around AI. Microsoft's kind of leapfrogged everybody at the moment with AI, so the AI capabilities that are in the product today are really best in class. And so that's going to be a quickly changing part of the technology world in the next few years. But Microsoft is at the front of the pack at the moment. And then finally, I would highlight Microsoft's commitment to the nonprofits. He sort of alluded on that, and unfortunately, Brian, from Microsoft is in the call, or he'd be able to, give you more examples of that. But just in terms of, developing things like this accelerator that they make available for free, as well as the attractive licensing. I think that's pretty powerful, and so we do actually run into clients from time to time that we help migrate from Salesforce. Honestly, typically their primary reason is licensing cost. Salesforce can be very cheap to get going. Once you start to get deeper with it, add on some things, and over time, you get a little bit of fee fatigue sometimes with that, and so we certainly see that from time to time. So that's a quick answer to that. Very valid question. I mean, they're both very powerful platforms, and hopefully we've shown some examples of the advantages of Microsoft, in the nonprofit space. So thank you all for your time today. Hopefully everybody can go and enjoy some nice summer weather where you are, and reach out. We'd love to work with nonprofits, and let us know how we can help.